Assassin's Creed Valhalla's finale is upon us, with the free Last Chapter DLC coming at the end of 2022, and while the footage at the Ubisoft Forward event in September was pretty short, it still showed some interesting details of what Eivor's final adventure will be like and how Basim is involved in all of this. And speaking of Basim, we've got some exclusive info from our interview with art director Jean-Luc Salah on how Assassin's Creed Mirage is going to tie in with this DLC to introduce us to Basim's past and way more. So if you're curious about this final content, then totally leave a like on the video to show your support, subscribe for way more Valhalla videos, and let's go. The trailer for the last chapter starts with Eivor sitting across the river of Ravensthorpe, mentioning feeling Odin close by, who eventually sits next to her. First thing that stands out here is Eivor's outfit. From a first glance, it looks like the Raven Clan armor, which we of course have seen many times before in game and in trailers, but on further examination, some parts are a bit different than usual. For one, the bracers got a more blue and gold color in the trailer compared to the mythical version currently in game that are bronze and gold. Furthermore, the cloak has big black feathers now, while the fully upgraded one doesn't. Kind of reminds me of the one from the Allfather set from the Dawn of Ragnarok expansion. We're going to check out the other details in a second, but I think that because of these recolors, we're getting a reskinned Raven Clan armor set in this DLC. A new final appearance of this armor set could be cool too, but because the next tier in upgrades is at the time of writing only available in the paid Dawn of Ragnarok expansion, this is highly unlikely since the last chapter is completely free. If we go further into the trailer, we see a pattern of a raven with a hidden one symbol in the middle on the back of Eivor's cloak. Ches and BR Zoza left an interesting theory about this in our comments section. Could it be that Eivor is going to join the Hidden Ones at the end of this DLC? Well, it is definitely a possibility, especially because we see Eivor having a meeting with someone at the Hidden Ones Bureau that's across from the blacksmith in your settlement. The leader of the bureau is of course Hypham, so we are pretty sure that that's the person we talk to here, and we also know from Andy Reloads, linked to his channel in the video description, that there are some last chapter notices found in the game files specifically mentioning Hyphen Bureau setup. So we're not sure if this is the moment where Eivor is going to join the Hidden Ones, but they have definitely something to do with this DLC. Going back to the trailer, we see some Animus Anomaly icons pop up at various known locations. They might have something to do with the tie-ups of some of the storylines established throughout the game that are being mentioned in the Ubisoft Forward. The first one is over here on the map in Northwick, East Anglia. We met Oswald here doing a main quest, so we think Eivor is going to check up on him to see how he's doing. The next one is in Norway, over here on the map in Alrekstad Hordefylke. The Animus spot specifically is at the home of King Harold, who we meet near the start of the game and who we also see in the trailer standing near a war table and surrounded by his guards in green armor. We also spot Sigurd there. More about him in a moment. The third possible location for an Animus anomaly is back in England, over here in Winchester. King Alfred's story arc took place here, and it looks like Eivor is going to see him again, looking at his silhouette, the crown on his head, and also the amount of guards surrounding him. And from the looks of it, Eivor can interact with Animus anomalies again at these locations, but they could work differently than we are used to. In the main game, this side activity was in the form of a puzzle, where you play as Layla to solve them, and after that you received a small clip, which eventually would turn out into a full-fledged cutscene by solving all of the anomalies. Because this DLC takes place after the main story, it is modern-day Basim who's going to take on these anomalies instead. Question is if we are going to take on these sort of parkour puzzles again, or Basim will do something completely different. In the trailer, we see him sitting on a rooftop in Winchester, looking over King Alfred and Eivor, where the characters suddenly disappear in an Animus glitch. And also found in the game files, we know that there are some Basim interact points, so it might just be him sitting and watching things unfold after all. It could be something else entirely as well. If you have any theories, let us know in the comments down below. Next, we already mentioned him a bit, Sigurd is showing up in this DLC, and this could be interesting. The main story of Assassin's Creed Valhalla has two different endings. In short, depending on your choices throughout the game, Sigurd will return with Eivor to Ravensthorpe or not and stay in Norway. So does this mean that this DLC shows that Valhalla has a canon ending, or that it can start in two different ways? One with a happy Sigurd who goes with you to Norway, or where you meet an angrier version of him? We will see. And finally, there's one mystery that has been left unsolved for a very long time. Eivor's grave in Vinland. In the modern day, Layla found the exact location and some players found the place with Eivor in Vinland as well, but we still have no idea why she was buried there or if she even died there specifically. We went there as part of a main story questline, but we never returned after that was done, so while the description for the DLC doesn't say that it ties up unsolved mysteries, this could be the perfect time to finally tell us what exactly happened, since it's Valhalla's and Eivor's finale. So yeah, at the end of the DLC we will finally close the door of Eivor and open another, namely Basim's to Assassin's Creed Mirage, because when Jordan asked Jean-Luc Salah if the new game would relate to the last chapter in a way, he said the following.
In the last chapter for Eivor for Valhalla, we also saw Basim a couple of times. Is there some sort of connection with Mirage? Is there a tease maybe at the end with for this game?
I know something is cooking there to bridge the Mirage game, but I don't have anything more to say.
Okay.
Okay, keep it mysterious. Well, we already know that there was supposed to be a tie-in anyway, since Assassin's Creed Mirage started out as an expansion for Valhalla. Bloomberg reported this a while back when the project was still under their codename Rift and now of course morphed into a full game. There are also hints found in the game files to a Rift teaser, so it's going to happen one way or the other. How is still unknown. If the Animus anomalies work the same as always, it could be a hidden cutscene, but we will see. Now, we have been talking about Valhalla's finale a lot, but before 2022 is over, wasn't there another questline that we were supposed to get in the game, Dennis?
I mean, we thought so for a long time, but the closer this last chapter is getting, the more likely I think it is that we never even see it release. I am of course talking about the Rollo-Quest line that Andy Reloads leaked a very long time ago. We've speculated for a while that that was going to be an Origins crossover quest, as it had some very similar themes to the Cassandra quest with the Isu relics and divisions, and there was a lot of stuff about Caesar and Caesarion and war elephants as well, so a lot of stuff tying it back to Origins too. However, it was also very clear from the leaks that this content would be linked to hidden tombs, and with the Tombs of the Fallen chapter 2 now out and no mention of Rollo, I think it's looking increasingly likely that this questline was actually cancelled. I mean, Jordan pointed this out, but the fact that we get a sword as a final reward for the new tombs is not a coincidence, as the Rollo questline leak also contained lines about him handing Eivor a sword at the end of the questline. We're of course not sure if that would have been the same blazing sword as we got now, but considering the fact that Eivor and Rollo were supposed to be raiding Isu tombs in this quest, I think it's very likely. Another thing that I think connects the Rollo leaks to the new tombs questline is the fact that Rollo's quest was supposed to start in Canterbury, after which we ride to a cliff relatively nearby to delve into our first tomb. And well, what do you know, one of the tombs from the second chapter is actually located here at the bottom of a cliff relatively close to Canterbury. And finally, Yor was also able to ask Jose about this questline and the rumors, and he responded saying that there isn't really much to talk about right now. So I think all of that together makes it very likely that this Rollo questline turned into the second chapter of the Tombs of the Fallen, but of course let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And with that being the final piece of content we were still expecting, that should mean that the last chapter wraps up everything for Valhalla nicely then. Well, there are of course still some updates to parts of the existing game, with one big feature fans have been asking about since the launch still potentially on the horizon. That feature of course being New Game Plus. And while this feature has not been confirmed by any means, every interview we asked Jose about it, he came back with somewhat the same answer. If the game gets New Game Plus, it will be the last thing that the team adds. Which in my mind would either mean it releases at the same time as the last chapter, or it releases in a big final update to the game after that. We do know, thanks again to Andy Reloads, that there are files in the game with the New Game Plus label, so it's definitely something that has been worked on, but there's still no official word on the potential release. I personally think that the AC celebration would have been the perfect moment to announce it, so I'm not really keeping my hopes up, but I'm more than happy to be proven wrong. At the very least, don't expect it to release before the launch of the last chapter. And I'd say the same goes for Hooded Combat, another feature a lot of fans have been asking for. The last update we had on this, once again thanks to an interview with Jose, is that it's still on the plate and that it's something the team is investigating, but again, next to the fact that it's being worked on, we have no confirmation on whether or not it will actually release. So keep your fingers crossed, I suppose. Subscribe to stay up to date on everything Assassin's Creed. We'll be covering the final big Valhalla updates and of course Mirage once we learn more about that too. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it, and if you want, you can watch our previous video on the best free new weapon in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. We will see you in the next one. Goodbye.